Today, we've got something a bit different, really specific mission for you. We're looking at a stack of notes detailing the day-to-day routine of a software engineer, Kevin, who works entirely from home.
Yeah, and it's fascinating stuff. We're not just listing what he does, we're really digging into the architecture of it all.
Architecture, how so?
Well, it shows two things, right? One, how a modern professional structures their remote day, like the schedule itself. And two, the specific language and, the habits that actually define that structure.
Okay, so we're looking for the practical stuff, the habits, but also maybe some surprising bits that make it all work.
Exactly. What makes this routine function day in, day out? So we're going to follow him chronologically
Right.
from waking up, looks like 7:00 a.m., all the way to hitting the hay at 11:00 p.m. Let's get into it. Okay, segment one, the morning routine. 7:00 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. It starts with Kevin usually wakes up around 7:00 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, I like that word usually right off the bat.
Yeah, because it tells you it's a habit. It's got momentum, but it's not super rigid. It feels more human.
Yeah,
Sustainable, maybe.
I think that's a great point. That usually signals flexibility. It's almost like a built-in defense against, well, burnout, right? If you miss the 7:00 a.m. alarm one day, the whole day isn't a write-off.
Okay.
Exactly, you just adapt. But okay, so he's awake, first thing. The notes say he checks his phone for time messages.
Ah, the classic phone check. We hear so much about how that's like the worst way to start your day.
Yeah.
Does it say how he avoids getting sucked into work emails or Slack immediately?
It seems like the key is what comes next. He checks it, but then the very next thing is getting out of bed and going straight to the bathroom.
Go straight to. Okay.
Yeah, that phrase suggests no detours. It's an immediate physical move. It breaks the potential digital vortex before it starts. Physical separation first. Gotcha, so he creates that space. Then the usual morning stuff. Wash my face. Take a shower. Interesting they use the phrase take a shower. Yeah, standard phrase. Then brush my teeth, get dressed. Standard hygiene routine.
And the clothes, comfortable t-shirt and jeans for work from home.
Yeah, comfort's obviously key when you're at home.
But it's interesting. It's not like pajamas or sweatpants.
Mm.
It's one step up.
Yeah.
Still comfortable, but maybe creates that mental shift. Like, okay, I'm dressed for work, even if it's homework.
I think so. It sets a kind of psychological boundary. This isn't just lounging. Then he moves on to breakfast.
Says you make breakfast. The notes mention toast with eggs and black coffee.
Right, black coffee, just coffee, no milk, no sugar. Pretty standard.
And he's making it himself. That action seems important too, like a grounding ritual.
Could be. Performing those simple sequential tasks. And then it says he sometimes watches the news on YouTube while eating.
Sometimes. So not every day.
Yeah, on occasion is how I read that. It's not a constant distraction that eats into his morning prep. It's contained within that breakfast window. Keeps the pre-work time intentional. Okay, so that brings us to 8:30 a.m., the start of the official workday, right? Segment 2. The structured remote workday, running till about 5:30 p.m. First action at 8:30. Turning on the computer. Makes sense. Yep, got to start the machine. And immediately after that, checking email and team messages. Standard practice. You need to see what's landed overnight.
Triage the inbox before diving into tasks.
Yeah.
Okay, then what? Then we hit some specific tech jargon. The daily stand-up. Ah, yes, the stand-up.
You pretty much hear this everywhere in software development. It's a short video meeting. And the name stand-up comes from the idea that if people are actually standing, they'll keep it brief.
Huh, right. Keep it moving. What's the purpose?
Quick updates. What are your tasks for the day? Any problems or blockers holding you up? It's about synchronization and identifying issues fast.
Yeah, it really cuts down on wasted time if someone's stuck on something others can help with quickly.
Exactly. So after that stand-up, he gets into the main part of his morning. The notes say he spends most of the morning doing two things: writing code and fixing bugs. Okay, core engineering tasks. And fixing bugs, that's another key term.
It is. Basically means correcting errors or problems in the software code. The term supposedly goes way back to, like, actual insects found in early computers, believe it or not.
Wow, really? Huh. Okay, so this coding and bug fixing part, that sounds like deep focused work.
Right, familiar.
Requires concentration. And the notes add something interesting here. He usually listens to music while I work. Another common productivity thing, right? Create your own sound bubble, block out distractions, especially at home.
Precisely. It helps maintain that focus block. So the morning's really about that core productive output, using that peak morning energy. Makes sense. Then we get to midday. Around noon, it says. Yep, around 12:00 p.m. Time for a break. He takes a lunch break. The phrase take a break is important. It's an active step. And lunch itself. Sounds like efficiency is key again. Normally eat something quick. Sandwich or leftovers.
Right, leftovers food from dinner the night before, maybe. Saves time. But the crucial part isn't just eating quick.
It's what he does after eating.
Exactly. He makes a point to go for a short walk outside to get some fresh air.
Ah, the physical reset, getting away from the screen, moving the body. Good for the mind, I bet.
Absolutely. Change of scenery, bit of movement. It's like a cognitive hygiene, as you said earlier. Refreshes you for the afternoon session.
So the afternoon grind, what does that look like?
Yeah.
He keep working. Just means continuous, right?
Yeah, just continues working on his projects. But the type of work often shifts a bit in the afternoon.
Okay. How so?
Well, the notes mention things like sometimes I review code for my teammates. So checking their work, providing feedback.
Quality control, collaboration.
Right. Or he might write documentation, which means writing explanations or instructions about the code or system. Also crucial, but maybe a different kind of mental effort than pure coding.
Less intense deep focus, maybe more synthesis and communication.
Perhaps. It often fits better when your energy levels are naturally a bit lower than peak morning focus. Plus, he usually has 1 or 2 more meetings scheduled in the afternoon, maybe with the product team or designers.
So the afternoon seems a bit more collaborative, more about maintenance and communication, balancing the morning's deep work.
That's a good way to put it. Morning for production, afternoon for collaboration and upkeep. And then comes the end of the workday, the finish line. He tries to finish work by 5.3. That word by feels really important. It really is. By 5.3 means no later than 5:30. It sets a clear boundary.
A hard stop. Prevents that work creep where the day just kind of dissolves into the evening, which is so easy when your office is also your home.
Totally. That defined end time is critical for protecting personal time and avoiding burnout. Okay, so work's done by 5.3. What happens next? Segment 3. Evening transition and learning. 5.3 p.m. to 11.00 p.m. The transition is immediate. The notes say he shifts straight into relaxation, play video games, or watch something on Netflix.
A clear reward, a signal the workday is truly over. No slow fade out.
Right. Important for mentally switching gears, especially when the commute is just closing the laptop. But then there's another layer here, something beyond just relaxing.
Okay.
It's about intentional development, but done smartly. The notes say, on some days.
Not every day.
Exactly. On some days, he'll either exercise, go to the gym, or he'll take an online course to learn something new.
Okay, on some days, that feels key. Why is that phrasing so important, do you think?
Because it avoids the pressure of having to do it every single night. Think about it.
Well,
Trying to hit the gym and do an online course every evening after a full workday. That's a recipe for failure for most people.
yeah.
You'd burn out or just give up. Precisely. But scheduling it for some days makes it sustainable. It acknowledges that sometimes you just need pure rest, but it ensures these high-value things. Fitness, learning still happen consistently enough to become long-term habits. It builds in resilience.
That's a really practical insight for anyone listening who's trying to fit learning or exercise into a packed schedule. Don't aim for every day, aim for some days.
Yeah.
Consistency over intensity.
Exactly. Manage your energy and expectations.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that potential exercise or learning block, dinner is around 7:00, and he makes dinner. Seems he enjoys cooking. Simple stuff. Pasta, rice with vegetables.
Yeah, another potentially grounding activity. Then the rest of the evening is clearly downtime. He usually read a book or chat with friends online.
Just relaxing, decompressing, low mental load.
Allowing the brain to switch off from work mode completely. Then comes the final wind-down routine.
Getting ready for bed. Looks like you brushed my teeth again. And then, crucially, set my alarm.
Yes, setting the alarm for the next morning, that closes the loop. It protects the start time for the next day's routine. Absolutely. It ensures the whole cycle. The structure of work, rest, learning can begin again smoothly. The integrity of the 7 a.m. start is maintained. And finally, you usually go to sleep around 11:00, getting enough rest to fuel the whole thing.
So that's the typical day. A complete loop of focused work, deliberate breaks, relaxation, and even structured self-improvement.
Okay, let's wrap this up. What are the big takeaways here?
Well, I think we've really mapped out a sophisticated defense strategy for productive remote work. We've seen the jargon like daily stand-up or fixing bugs, but more importantly, we saw how specific phrases and habits act as mental signals.
Signals for switching modes.
Yeah, signals that define if you're in deep work mode or collaboration mode or recovery mode. It's all about creating and respecting those boundaries, especially when work and life happen in the same physical space.
It really wasn't just a to-do list, was it? It showed how you compartmentalize a day using language, habits, and these intentional transitions. You saw the shift from high focus to letting go. So here's a final thought for you, the listener, especially if you're focused on learning. Kevin uses that on some days approach for his online course. He carves out time for learning within his leisure hours. but not every single day.
Right, the sustainable approach.
So think about your own routine, how dense it might be. What's one thing, maybe a less essential leisure activity, that you could shift to an on-some days slot? What change could free up even just a couple of hours a week consistently for learning something new? And maybe think about this. What's the one thing you need to set an alarm for? Not for the morning wake-up call, but for the evening. An alarm that says, okay, now is that protected time for learning. Find that activity to shift. Set that evening alarm for learning. It might be the key to unlocking consistent self-improvement within your own busy schedule.
It's all about making that time intentional.
Great insights. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the architecture of a really focused remote work routine. We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.